Xin chào, I'm My Holland, your host for Mosaic Mind. Join me for delightful conversations about culture, identity, and leadership. Our podcast features inspiring women leading the way in Vietnam.
Our guest today is the amazing Trang Dang. As the head of ICAEW Vietnam, Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, that is quite difficult to say. Trang brings a wealth of experience and a dynamic spirit to our conversation. Born and raised in Hanoi, Trang boasts 25 years working experience with NGOs, government agencies, and UK professional bodies. Beyond her impressive career, Trang is an avid traveler, exploring the world with her son and daughter. Her love for animals is evident with her bustling home of 2 dogs and, listen carefully, 8 cats. Since 2022, Trang has embraced trekking, conquering destinations like the Everest Base Camp, the Annapurna Base Camp, and Songdong Cave. Adding to her adventurous spirit, she is now mastering advanced level horseback riding. Welcome, Trang. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited for our conversation
Me too.
today.
I really want everyone to hear about your stories about, of course, your work, but also the other amazing stories about, going to Songdong and overseeing. So today is basically a chit-chat between you and myself and with a few listeners, who will join us and who really want to know more about who you are behind the scenes. So let's start with very easy questions. And I really want to know everything about you. How do you do in the morning? How does your breakfast reflect your background? Are you pho or banh mi or mashed potatoes or baked beans? What are you?
Yeah. So my most favorite food in the morning is pho. So I can try pho gà today, pho bò tomorrow, and then the best morning for me start with seeing my daughter and my son, smiling with them, and then the cats around me start grasping me and then ask me to feed them. So that's something like I love to do in the morning.
Awesome. Okay. I really want to come back to Vietnam and have a pho with you then. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's talk a bit more serious now. Let's talk about your leadership style. Okay, so you are very well liked by your colleagues, which speaks volumes about your leadership style. So how would you describe about your feminine approach to leadership? How do you describe it, about how it can contribute to this positive perception from the people who work with you?
Back to 10 years ago, honestly, at that time, I haven't had any experience in managing a team. And then I got a chance to work for ICAEW. I think when my boss interviewed me, I don't know, somehow he may see like even I'm a soft person from the appearance, but I can manage the team. So he gave me a chance. I still remember when I first recruited 2 team members like for my team. And I asked my boss to help me to interview because I didn't have experience in interview people and also like see who will be like suitable for the team. So after doing the interview for 3 candidates that I referred, my boss called me and said, Trang, they are all good. It's up to you to select whoever you want to work with you. Trang, I am concerned a little bit because you are quite soft person from whatever I am working with you, I know you. But they are all very strong and can say like a little bit aggressive ladies. So how do you think like it's good for you or maybe it's a challenge for you to manage the team member who are quite strong women? I said, I am okay. I need a strong one. I need a strong colleague together with me to build the markets. And I just manage them in terms of the work. I don't manage the person. In the person one, I just the colleague with them. In the work, I'm with the team leader. So that's a different way I am managing the team here in Vietnam. So slowly I build up the team and hopefully one day I can introduce you to my colleagues They're all very strong women, strong people actually. But in the work, we work very well to each other. So I always listen to my colleagues. But when I make the decision, that will be the decision, the final decision. Then they need to follow. That way is very clear rule. But I always give them the chance to do whatever they think is the right thing and it's a good thing for the company. And they may fail. I always share them in advance that I already experienced that and I think it will be good or it will not good. But I will not make it happen too far. But they have chance to do what they think is good and then they may fail and I support them. So I always be the person who will support them and then give them the back whenever they need. That's why they feel like quite trust. We build the trust. So from the trust, we can start from there always. That's what I do in my management role.
You say it like if it was so obvious. You say it like if everybody's doing it, but not everybody's doing it. Because like a few years ago, so I developed a concept on TEDx talk about feminine intelligence, and this is what you're talking about. Talk about working with emotional intelligence, working with that cultural intelligence with people, making sure that you had the level of support and that level of care as well. And that is exactly what you mentioned. So we don't have to be aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And things happen.
I just have a meeting with one of my my colleague and also one friend. It's our common friends just two days ago. So my colleague shared our common friend saying like I work with Trang for 10 years and I never ever seen her get angry. So she always very calm in whatever situation. So they also asked me like how could I do it? I said it's very naturally from the way I think and the way I act, rather than I have to force myself, don't get angry, and have to be calm. So it just everything become very natural for myself. And so far, like for my team, normally they not kind of like scared me to do the work. They try to do the work because they don't want me to be sad. I feel I'm so lucky. Feel so lucky to have that. Everything is just very naturally from my thought, and so I just do it.
I think you're very humble here, and like this is what we call authentic leadership. You don't have to try because you're really who you are, and then people feel it. So it's not something that you have to push and push and push. To make sure that people get it. So you don't have to do that because that's who you are. I'm really interested in knowing. So you like obviously challenges as well, and I'm so curious personally about your passion for adventures. So you have a passion for climbing, mountaineering. I want to know more about this. Okay, so can you tell us how you started all this? Okay, what drew you to the challenge of exploring, Songdong Cave? And by the way, for our people who don't know, this is the biggest cave in the world, not Vietnam. Okay, I said again, the biggest cave in Vietnam, in the world. And I've been once after COVID, and I can tell you that was challenging. But you told me different things last time. You want to come back again, and you're doing other things. So can you tell me about the cave experience and the base camp as well? How many times do you want to do it? Tell us more so that to inspire us, to push ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah. Actually, I recall my childhood memory. I was quite active girl at that time, but from my appearance and also my health and my character is quite soft and a weak person. So when I was born, I always thought I'm very weak. I can't like do anything with the strong activity. So I remember when I was in the high school also for my physical like module, I always got a very, very low score. Then one day, suddenly, I remember in the 10th grade, I decided to learn Kung Fu. So I went to register Taekwondo. And then actually I did okay. I did quite well. And since there, I think I start changing my mind. I can do it. And I'm a strong person. Then after that, I become like much better. And even, sometimes in our physical subject, So my teacher asked her to run like 3 rounds around the school ground. And I did myself. I finished my test. And then I run with my classmates to support them to run faster. So I run in front of them and they just try to follow me. So then I know, okay, I can do it. But 2015, once one of my very close friends asked me to go for mountaineering. We did Kinabalu.
Oh,
I didn't prepare anything. I thought it's just the walk. So I also tried to walk to do the walking every day, climb mountain, stay a little bit, but I couldn't make it. It was so hard for me. And then after the trip, I decided that I will never do it again. Till after COVID, 2021, suddenly I saw Sundong promotion that they have a few like slot left because of COVID. That was my dream. Since I knew about Sundong, I thought, oh, I really want to do it, but I think like I never can do it. I just at that time I never think that I can do it. So then I was walking around Mon at that time. I was thinking, check again. Then suddenly I said, why don't I try? So I registered. Then they asked me a few questions about my exercise, about my experience. I have nothing. So they said, no, you can't do it. So I said, okay, so how can I do it if I really want to do? So I said, okay, you need to commit that you have to train, you have to climb at least one mountain, do at least one this, one that. So I said, okay, let me try once. Then I signed the commitment form and then I start training myself. So the first trick was climbing the one mountain in the north. It's the very easy. It's easier one, Lao Tan. And I was so weak. I was the last person reached and always the last one. But I don't know at that time because I really want to do Sundong. So my mind becomes so strong. So I know I will do very, very slow, but I can do it. So I keep going. I never ask my guide that when we reach, how long we reach. I just go. I just follow them slowly. And then I did it. Then during the Tet holiday, when every people like just dress up very nicely to visiting, go around, I just put my shoe and then I walk, continue training myself. And then I did the second trip in Tulan. And then when I did Sundong, I could do very well. In my opinion, I feel like I'm okay. So after that, got addicted with all of those things. And then I continue register for Annapurna Base Camp. And I went to Kong and I went to the most western point of Vietnam. So I just keep going, moving on. And then I feel I fall in love with the nature. Whenever I am in the trek, I don't really care much about the destination, like whether I can reach or not. But I care more about my experience, my enjoyment, the moment on the way. Then I started feeling like I love it. And then I know I can do it.
yeah. I think, your sharing says a lot, when I did Songdong, that was after COVID as well. And, well, it took us 6 months to train, but it was hard. I was always the last one. But doesn't matter. So as you try to enjoy the time, and really being in the present. And then exactly as you said, when you when you're so small and you feel so small, so insignificant, in something absolutely grandiose, you feel like, yes, nature is teaching us, a very good lesson. And why I wanted to ask you all this, because obviously, we're talking about your feminine leadership style, that people like working with you. You don't have to push, to be someone else. You are who you are, and the people like and enjoy working with you. And you have a lot of motivation, strong stamina, Songdong, Tulan Cave, Annapurna, not everybody is doing this, but, you are having such a strong, um, really, really strong motivation. And I really want to ask you, because I know from our chit chat before, you said that you started your career in the government and then you moved to the private sector, and which is really for a change. And I really want to know what is behind, because now we know a little bit about you, you're very motivated and everything. And moving from a space which is very safe, in terms of, advancing in your career, and take a
Yeah.
leap to the private sector, What would you like to share with us?
Yeah, I started working for the NGO VCCI, where I really love working there with the young people and very dynamic environment. But then because my parents working for government, and then the parents they only want to settle down their children, they want the children to follow their journey and maybe become some people like them in the past. So I agree, and I also took the exam to get into the first state treasury. And I worked for state treasury for 3.5 years, and I really enjoy working there. But then again, my parents also shared me that working there it be good for you, but for your career path for the future, it's just like very limited. So you should move to some higher level to develop yourself to have the better opportunity for your future. So I moved to Ministry of Finance. But can you believe the first day when I was there at Ministry of Finance, I already feel, oh, it's not the place for me. And at that time, because I was quite good staff with quite high reference from my manager from State Treasury. So a few departments in MOF agreed to accept me. So I selected, I took some research and I selected one and I started working there. But I feel like first, the pace, sorry to say that, it's quite slow for me. I want this faster, and I only want to do, I want to do more work. So still now, my colleagues still sometimes just kid me, like joke with me, kidding me that you were the only person so far in the department request for more workload. I said, I feel like I can finish my work without 4 hours. And the other 4 hours, of course, I still due to study. However, I want to have more workload, then I can develop myself, can grow. And that time I got more workload and I still continue. But then at the end of the day, I know it's not the place for me. I don't feel the motivation to go to work every day. So every day I just want to take it, honestly. And I feel like then I can't contribute to the department. I can't contribute to the work. I can do the work well, but for me, it's not the best. It can be good, but not best in terms of my capability. So I decided to start looking around. And then I was pregnant. So during pregnancy, I still keep looking around, apply, and I got into the interview round of a few organizations, a few companies. And walking into the interview room, every people just look at me kind of like, what are you doing here? You have pregnant. How can you receive you? And some of them said, okay, can you go back after like deliver your baby, kind of thing.
You couldn't wait.
Yeah, then I decided that whatever happened, I will not come back. So when I take the maternity leave, I like arrange my desk and make sure that I will not come back. So I carry everything home and make sure I not need to go back. So after that, when I deliver my daughter, and during the time maternity leave, I continue apply, and then I got a job offer with one UK organizations. And my parents didn't agree. Every people around me just kind of like, I'm crazy. You have so good job in the ministry. Then I applied my resignation letter to my head of department. He also looked at me like, I'm crazy, Trang. You are in the potential manager for the department. So we already put you in that list. We already send you for some training, and then you have the very bright future here in ministry. I will be very challenging for you. It's not for you. So I told him that actually I don't think I'm doing well. He said, no, you're doing very well. Yeah, it's good. But like I mentioned to you, it's not my best thing. I'm not happy with what I have done for the department. So I still decide to move out. But when I move out, actually, first I feel it's not easy at all. First, because of my English. There are two things I never thought before that I could do. The first is I can manage a team, because I think I can be a good team member, but I can't be a leader because I got soft character. The second is my English, because I studied fully in Vietnam, and I also work for government. I don't need to use English at all, so my English was not so good. My boss at that time, she did interview with me, and then she said, "Oh, your English is terrible." But because she wanted me to manage the relationship with the government, with the local employer and local university, that's why she said, okay, your Vietnamese is good. You need to continue improving your English to work for the organization. I also thought I never could improve that. But then But then I think the potential is there. Every people have the potential inside. Sometimes, somehow, we don't know. We don't see that at that time. But then you put yourself in some position, some situation, then it's there for you to develop and to exploit.
I think you just inspire me, when you're talking about potential, everybody talks about potential, but you shared with me that, English at that time was a barrier. And I think that is something very, very strong, very powerful, actually, to share. Because my Vietnamese, because I was born in France, my Vietnamese, I have always said, like, I can't do a podcast in Vietnamese. Don't even think about it. But maybe you're pushing my potential in somehow, and maybe I do one day.
Yeah, I believe it's there in you.
We can motivate each other. But I think what you have shared is really beautiful, because you mentioned to me, a few stories before about, how not being able to speak English can be, an obstacle in a career. But look at you, tell me about your career now with the Chamber of Commerce, your Bridgecham. Tell us more about, also with the ICAEW, how all those things work out for you. You are the head of it. You set up the office in Saigon as well, I think, in Ho Chi Minh City as well. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little more about, from that potential, and you make it happen?
Yes, I was the first staff in Vietnam for ICAEW. And I remember when I went for the interview with my boss, as I shared you, my English was not so good. But I don't know, somehow he trusts, and then he recruited me, he gave me the chance. And then I start setting up the office in Hanoi first. And then after that, after 1 year, I set the office in Ho Chi Minh City. It was not easy at all because ICAEW came to office quite late compared to some other organization. And I really want to find a different way for ICAEW. So I said some kind of like we follow the quality in terms of the quantity. So it starts with a very small group of our stakeholder client, but we try to select some very, very top one. And also we try to offer them very high quality partnership, high quality collaboration activity. So slowly we can develop the market very, very well. And I can build up the team in Hanoi and then the team in Ho Chi Minh City. Somehow so far, actually, among the international team for ICAEW, Vietnam team is the biggest team in terms of number of staff. And then I still have two qualifications. One is the chartered accountant qualification, and another is the foundation for that chartered accountant program. You call like CFAB, Certificate in Finance, Accounting and Business. The target that we will start with the foundation first to build a strong foundation for our ICAEW in the market. And that I want Vietnam to become a very big market outside the UK. And after 5 years, I made it. So Vietnam become the biggest international market for the certificate level for ICAEW. And now, and my target for the next 5 years is to transit to become the chartered accountant qualification market. And I'm in that transition currently. And currently, Vietnam is in the top, can say like the top 5 in terms of number of students, active students, those students who really take the exam and really convert to become a member. So it's not the easy like journey, but I'm so lucky to have a great team. So I always share them whatever I want or I used to want my boss to do for me. I'm now doing for my team member, for my colleagues. So I just try to treat them the way I want my boss to treat me. And the same with my partner here in Vietnam. I also said I do not want to have so many partners, but with one partner I want to do as many valuable collaboration as we can. So that is again back to the word I am using before is the trust. So it's really to build the trust between the colleagues and also between ICAEW and also our stakeholder. And so far, I can see that ICAEW is quite successful in the market, and I want to bring it to the higher level in next 5 years.
I have only admiration for what you're saying, how you're saying it, the milestone that you have set yourself to achieve. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. coming from a journey where, and again, I really want just to say, because the potential, when we talk about potential, everybody knows that word. But when you're really actualizing the potential, this is very inspiring, for especially, the younger person who are listening here. I think you're inspiring a lot of people here, and me included, by the way. And I'm really interested. I remember. So you mentioned that you're also on the British Chamber of Commerce board, and I really want just to hear a little bit more about how it is to be a Vietnamese woman on the board. I mean, are you in the minority, or are you in the majority, or are you, Can you tell us a little bit more how the dynamic of being a Vietnamese woman on the board?
I'm My Holland, your host for Mosaic Mind. Welcome back.
Yeah, I think there are two things I'm very grateful for my life. First, I was born as a girl and grow as a woman. And second thing, I'm born in Vietnam. So I'm very proud to be a Vietnamese and also to be a woman. So when I joined Bridgam board member since last year, so this is my second term with the board for Bridgam. I was the only Vietnamese woman, actually the only Vietnamese in the book.
Oh,
And last year, it's like all British or like some other foreigner from different country in Europe. But I was the only Vietnamese. It's not easy at first, honestly, to share with you. In some meeting, sometimes I couldn't really get into the conversation because they are using the language that maybe I'm not used to. Some terms, some words, some fact that in the UK that I didn't know. That's why it was quite hard and quite tough. But I think like with my experience working for the UK organization, and also I want to support not only for the UK businesses in Vietnam, but also to the collaboration between Vietnam and the UK, and to how do you call, like, to bring expertise from UK to support for Vietnam, at the same time to support the Vietnam to grow, and also bring the trade win for the UK. So that's the win-win thing. So I think with that purpose, I could still contribute quite a lot. Then I started with my strength is the education, because I'm working in education for nearly 20 years. So I understood very well about the education system in Vietnam. And I'm also the member of the committee set up by Ministry of Education and Training. That's what I can contribute into the board. And together with the former chairman of Bridgam at that time, we set up the education working group. It's the one of two first working groups set up under Bridgam. And by then, I started slowly contributing more and more into the Bridgam board and also into activity for Bridgam member, and at the same time contribute into Vietnam and Vietnam education system. So as the education system between Vietnam and UK currently do a lot of collaborating. So then in the second year, join the board, I could contribute much better now, and then can really get in. I feel like I'm youngest person in the boat and the only Vietnamese in the boat. Luckily, this term I have another new also Vietnamese lady joining the boat. So together we can contribute a little, like quite a lot more, and we can show also the strength and the power of Vietnamese women in the boat, showing not only with the British boat but also with the UK government and Vietnamese government whenever we have the chance to join the meeting with the.
I think it's wonderful. It's, again, this is very inspiring what you're saying, being the only Vietnamese and then the only woman, but now you will have someone else. But, the fact that you can navigate, different culture. We're talking about the British culture here. I'm very curious about how you do it, Emma. So you mentioned, a few things that you did, but can you, expand more, when we're talking about having that cultural awareness, when people, put some jokes or some cultural references, like, like my husband is English as well. When he does something like, you're not laughing, I'm like, no, I didn't get it. And I want to know how do you navigate that cultural awareness in terms of, it's not about English, because Your English, my English, it's fine. We communicate, we work in English. What is it that help us or help you to navigate things for a lot of people, especially people who speak English as native language in the chamber, that they don't realize that actually non-English speakers, it's not even that. People who have not lived in England cannot get it. How do you navigate, those not awkward, but those moments where we're like, didn't get it.
Yeah, actually, I think first should be from ourselves. So if I still thinking that I'm the only Vietnamese in a group of the British, so people also think, so I can't change people's mindset about that. So I myself, actually, I know it's a fact, but I don't think about that. So in my mind, I'm just a normal person in a group of the same level, same everything. So I never or treated myself as I'm a woman. So they are men. I'm Vietnamese. They are British. I think it's the same. It's just like we are same in the same level, same role of the board member. So when I can change, I can like manage my thought like that. Like I don't think about the differences. Then I think I can also maybe somehow influence people to think the same thing. Like they don't see the differences there. And for me, like sometimes we talk about the equality. And always we request like the equal between men and women. And then said, oh yeah, we are women. You need to treat me like this, treat me like that. So actually it's not equal. Actually you ask something like more for the woman. So if you think like it's no different between you and the other, between woman and man, and you just think it's the normal thing, then people also think the same thing. Actually, somehow they still think, oh, okay, she's the woman, she's the Vietnamese. You may need to a little bit show the respect to her. You need to be sometimes somehow that we have the meeting, and then people want to talk. And if I raise voice, I always like just raise as usual, like the member, rather than like because I'm woman, I have to have chance to talk. I just raise voice, and actually like people stop, and then people listen to me, and then people even like give me more chance to share. Because I believe that they also think like the perspective from a Vietnamese also really contribute well for the strategy, for the activity. That's why I think the first, we don't think about that. We just think it's very normal. We just think like no difference here. Then it happened.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking where you have a space where you have trust and also that you have mutual respect. So I mean, in some workplaces, gender issues are a real issues. If you read statistics from the reports from UN Women, I mean, the gender gap is still an issue, still a real issue in Vietnam and other countries as well. So keeping that in mind, so you know how you navigate, in those different environments, so you don't ask for special requests because you are who you are, you know your worth, you know who you are. So then you can exchange views and you have mutual respect. What would be an advice from you for the listeners, especially the probably the younger people than us? What advice would you give them about how we can navigate our richness, the richness of our cultural background and unfamiliar territory? So like we're talking even we're talking about Vietnamese working in the north of Vietnam, the middle, the south. We're talking also about Vietnamese overseas, the Viet Kieu. What would be your advice about talking about all those Vietnamese people who sometimes think they know but actually they don't know, and then they might make some mistake? What would be an advice for them?
Yeah, actually, I myself is quite positive thinker. So I always think about the positive thing. And in every situation, I always think like, okay, what will be the best thing I can do? What will be the worst thing may happen if I cannot do? Will I be willing to take that risk? So if I willing to take the risk, I go ahead to try my best. If I don't want to take the risk, I just don't do it. But if something you don't want to take the risk, but you still have to do it with no choice, then I have to do my best to make the best result. So for me, the first is like, it's really your thinking. Like you think you can do, or you think, oh, I may not be able to do. So it's really, really, really decide the result a lot. That's the first thing. The second thing also for me, how can I say? I say like, I only had two kind of person in my mind. The group that I like or I love them, and a group that I don't like. I don't have anyone that I hate. So I just like and don't like. Yes. And then for me, I will focus and spend time and also my emotional whatever to the people, to the group that I like. To the group that I don't like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't let it impact me. So I have a few colleagues and a few people came to me and said, "Oh, Trang, I am working in a very good company. I love my job, but my colleague is terrible. She tried to do this, tried to do that to me, and then I choose not to leave it." I said, "Okay, you love your job, you love your company, and you leave what you love because of someone you don't like. Is that like what? So I will leave something, I will drop something for someone I love. I will not give up something for someone I don't like." So that is my another also like sometimes I give the advice to my colleague and my friends. And one more thing I also normally share with people that how can I say, like suddenly I think I speak very fast normally. So my thinking also very fast. So when I try to speak slow and then I forgot what I'm going to it's, it's very funny. But yeah, back to the thing also like the trust and sharing. So I also think like if you want someone to trust you, to treat you well, you need to trust them first. You need to treat them well first. And every people have the different need, have the different way that they want people to treat them. But at least you try to treat people the way you want people to treat you. That's the thing. Because some people said, that person don't trust me, don't share me this information, that information. I said, okay, so did you share them your information? No, I don't trust them. How can I share them? I said, that's what I mean. So for me, like with my boss and with my colleague, first I trust them and I share them whatever I know, whatever I think they should know. So I share them everything. I don't hide anything. And then I think by also my luck, I also gain the trust from both sides. And my boss in the performance review, she told me that, Trang, you not only manage your team member well, but you manage your boss also quite well. I don't know why did she say that, but yeah, I just think like that's something I want to share with the young people, that first they have to change their thinking about themselves, about their potential, about people around first, before they want the people around to change the mindset, to change the thinking about them. So it's only from before you blame outside, like why people think like that, why people do like that to me. So from our side first.
Yeah, I mean, another word of wisdom here. So that is absolutely beautiful. I love that, that you're managing your boss as well. That is, that's a very good sharing, from your colleague, I think. And talking about the good stuff, can you share with us about what you're the most proud of? What accomplishment, personally or professionally, what is it that you are the most proud of? You have done so much, I know, but if you pick
Yeah.
one,
Yes,
what would
yes,
it
yes.
be?
But it should be two things. One thing about my career, and one thing will be my personal life. For my career, actually, what I already share, I think is that I found out my potential of what I always thought before that I couldn't do, like become a good manager and also my English level thing. So I think it's my personal achievement, something like not visible to every people, it's but visible for myself, that I could find the potential in my in me. And for my personal life, I feel like most proud thing is I can be friend of my children. And also my children also treated me as their friends, like best friend. So you may not believe, but I can share some very special example. Like my son put his phone password. It's my birthday. And also I'm in the group chat with my son and my daughter friends in a lot of group chats. So they just put me in for me to give advice not only to my son and my daughter, but also to their friends in something that they still confused what to do, what they need to change or to improve themselves, and also even the direction for their study and their uh, lifestyle and also their career. So that's something I feel very proud that I could be my children friends. So that is more
It
thing in
sounds
my
to me
life.
like you're mentoring other people as well. you know, it's like I mean that's so beautiful sharing because that will inspire other people to say that sometimes your children's life and your life are quite separated in terms of friendship, but you just shared with us. But it is possible. It is possible, to show that actually, by caring and by not micromanaging, you are actually you can help other young people's, as you said, directions or choice of study whatsoever. So that is a mentoring role here. Absolutely wonderful here. So can we ask you another questions about, so far you're inspiring me. Okay, so I'm going to work on my Vietnamese, so thank you.
Thank you.
Then I ask you, who inspire you, Dan?
I can say that it's not one person. It's every people around me. You may feel like, oh, how can like everyone can inspire you? But it's honestly, it's the truth. Every one around me, even my parents, my father inspired me in some way. My mother inspired me in another way. My children also inspire me a lot. And every colleague and my friend, they inspire me in different way. It seems like when my colleagues shared me that, oh, we do this not because we're afraid of you, that you may shout at us because you never do it, but we don't want you to bother with those things. You don't want to make you sick or to disappoint you. So that is something I feel like very inspire me. And also like my boss also share like, okay, Chang, you manage the team well, you do very good, and then can you do some more workload for the region, not only for Vietnam? So everything, every small thing happening every day, every word that people talking to me, sharing with me, inspire me. Even today, our conversation, it also like inspire me a lot when you share that. Whatever I share is also may like bring some value to the listener, to young people. So that also like inspire me every day, everything from everyone.
Another word of wisdom. Thank you. So the last question, I know the last question. So the names of the podcast is called Mosaic Mind. So we really want all the jigsaw puzzles on Mosaic. We really want them to fit together and to represent our mind. So you gave us a lot of tips and a lot of advice for people just to take back in their leadership journey. Can you share with us, how can our listeners of Mosaic Mind cultivate a Mosaic mind that embrace global cultures?
Yeah, I believe that everything happen around us every day is connect to each other. From whatever you do at work to whatever you do at home or with your friend, with your colleague, everything like connecting. I remember I watched one comedian talking about man and woman brain, and it's a very I think it's very true when he mentioned that the man brain is like a different box. So at one time the man can take one box and talk about that, but the woman brain is like the dog and everything connect to each other. I just joke with my friend that the woman can very easy make things become complicated. So don't try to make things become simple because our brain is complicated. But just try to utilize the complicated of your brain to make things like in the right way, not messy, rather than try to simplify it. So for me, when thinking about that mosaic mind, I think like every people will try to look around and try to link up the thing and also try to use whatever you already gain from different activity, different environment to have opinion in something by using your experience, using your knowledge. But for me, I think everything should be naturally by yourself. Don't For me, I always have to advise, don't try to force yourself to do something and always listening to your mind listening to your body. See like what your body, what your mind may want, rather than always try to force you to do whatever you want rather than your body or your mind really want it. So for me, it's the understanding yourself, follow everything naturally, and then just utilize whatever you have and think positively. That's what my advice.
Beautifully said again, beautifully wrapped as well. So look, it has been absolutely a delight to have you today, Trang. Absolutely a delight. Thank you very much for generous time, making time, to share with us, all those words of wisdom. So really, your wisdom is a gift. Thank you for chatting with us. And final last question. What is your next adventure? Just for us to know.
Yes, actually, my daughter, she somehow loved history, and she just got into university, and she loved the Southeast Europe. She loved like Bosnia, Serbia, Montenegro. So my next adventure is the one to take her there and then to spend a few weeks there to learn about the culture, to know people, and also like for her also to inspire her and inspire myself also. So I told her already that I learned a lot from her knowledge, her skills. She's told me that, oh, you're very good, you are a manager, you lead a team, you have a lot of knowledge, you study very well. I said no, but I still learning a lot from you. So my next adventure, I want to take my daughter to Bosnia, Herzegovina, Serbia, and Montenegro. So all of those countries to learn about the culture, about the people there, and that is also to build up my knowledge about that area.
Fascinating. I can see the lifelong learning person that you are. And so for our people who are listening here, thank you very much. So you can connect with Trang on LinkedIn. So we will put the link below, and you have also probably Facebook and Instagram as well if you really want.
Yes.
And I'm sure you will follow your trip, in Bosnia. So join the conversation again, for our listeners here. We are going to put a poll with, one question below here. Let us know where you're calling from, where you're listening from. How is it, to be an asset, to have that kind of mosaic mind with us. So, Trang, thank you very much for joining us, and see you in a few weeks probably in Ho Chi Minh City. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chị. Lovely to
Bye.
talk to you, and then hope to see you again very soon. Thank you, Chị.
Absolutely. Bye, em.
Bye.